Hey, Paul, what do you call a dinosaur that knows the most words? A thesaurus. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Code Coder. I'm Rob Fitzgerald, here to make you great and help you innovate. In this episode, we are going to continue on our AWS project Static Website Advanced. I think that's what we called it. So all we have done so far is researched other sites for layout ideas and worked on our brand with our mood boards and style tiles. So it's time to get coding. But coding isn't going to look like it did in the past. You see, we now have users with Chromebooks that are basically a web browser with a computer wrapped around it. Yeah, that's right, Paul. We have entered into an age of cloud computing. So our HTML editors need to be in the cloud also. So today I am going to introduce you to AWS Cloud 9, and we are going to produce our static website in the cloud. Also, remember all that work that we did on branding? We are going to create a CSS page and apply it to our website using our style tile, of course. So when I created the style tile for the Mighty Fish Fisherman site, remember I also created a mood board? Also, in our research, I found that I was doubling up on the Mighty Code Coder YouTube channel art. Remember that? It said Mighty Code Coder, the Mighty Code Coder. So, do you remember how Blizzard remedied that problem? Remember how they just had a mural up there? They kind of used that mural like I want to use the mood board. The mood board is kind of a mural, right? So, for the Mighty Code Coder channel, I used the mood board as the channel art. So using XD, I exported a version of the mood board that would work with channel art. And so I want to show you that. And let's get going with today's work. All right. So I find today is going to be better if we work within Chrome. Okay. So I am going to open a Chrome browser. All right. And the first thing I do is I'll go to the Mighty Code Coder website, and you could see, you remember that's the style time. Remember the Starbucks, the girl with the Starbucks reflection in her glasses? So that is my new channel art. And you might go, ew, that's not. Well, here's the thing with channel art. First of all, Spark has a channel art template that you can use. So if you want to do something more spectacular, maybe you're very good with Photoshop or any image editing program and you want to do something more spectacular. Here's the problem though, and I think Blizzard picked up on this. When you look at your channel art from your computer or your iPad or your iPhone or even Apple TV, it all looks different, even your Android. So you've got to find something that works across all the devices, and murals work very good here. And so I find there's another use for our mood board, not just to make our style tile, but for our channel art. So give that a try, get your mood board done, and then bring it in as your channel art. And that's what they call this piece up here. Now, if I click on, I'll show you a piece that I started making one when I knew that was a problem. So I made something like this. I'm going to see if I can show it to you. I'm not going to actually apply it, but I'm going to show it to you. So I made something like this that had wordage on it. Actually, can I go back? Let me see if I go back. I got to scroll that in to show it to you. Okay, here's my photo. So if I scroll in, yeah, that's better. You see how I put in make you great, help you innovate? I figure that's great. That's not saying Mighty Code Coder twice. That's my slogan. And I'll put that up there. But to try to get this to work on all those devices, like I said, to make the text show up. And some people put the hashtag, they try to create a hashtag for their brand, which is great. But when you do it, it's so hard to line it up and it takes forever. So I went back and said, you know what? Even though that looks good and I could use that, I think just use the mood board. And by the way, in order for it to work in channel art, you had to do a certain size. So that's why you see a bigger one here, okay? So take your mood board. I think from now on, for these projects, I will try to suggest this size of a mood board instead of this size, just so people will have it ready for their channel art, okay? And maybe something else, I don't know, maybe you do it on your website also. Okay, so that was just one bit of information I wanted to take care of and show you today that I actually did that, and I want you to do the same thing. All right, now we are doing an advanced static web. It feels like static websites aren't advanced. That's all there is to it, so it's hard to say static website advanced. But what I want to do is I want to basically start doing some cloud computing. Okay, so in order to do it, we're going to go into an AWS console called Cloud 9. Okay, so if you just have a Chromebook, and I remember parents asking me this summer, what kind of computer should my student have? And I just said, get an iPad. It doesn't matter. I just need connection to the cloud. You're going to basically connect to Cloud 9 and do all your work up in the cloud. You don't have to have anything created on your computer. No more setting up an IDE. It just works for you. And by the way, you're going to connect to the most powerful computers in the world. All right. So in order to do it, I want you to go to Adhesive and go to your AWS Educate account. All right. And that should be in your navigation. And I think everyone's set up for that. The only one that may not be set up for that is John. But catch up and try to see if you get that set up. I'm going to log out to log back in. All right. And so here I go. And remember I said always use your Google login. The only problem with the Google login, if you have two-way authentication set up, it's going to want to have you set it up there. But get that going. I can't use my Adhesive account, AWS account, because I'm out of credits. You guys have enough credits. I actually have to use my personal account, so I'm going to go into my AWS this way. Okay, you guys go through Adhesive. All right, and so here is, oh, look out, it doesn't have any of my stuff saved. So I got to get Chrome going. I got to be able to use it. So I will have to open up my Dashlane, which is my password generator, and see if I could find my, here it is. Copy it. And paste my password in there and then go into my console. Okay, so you should end up at some point in this console. I did say save before I did this, but it's for some reason not saving. And so now I'm going to go into a service that's going to let us develop websites called Cloud 9. Okay, once you get into Cloud 9, I have some projects in there. You guys won't have any. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do it from scratch. But you can see I have the Mighty Fish Fisherman in here, and I actually started coding that site. And if I actually click on this, it'll actually open that IDE. And I'm going to show you how to set up in a second. I just want to show you that I did do it. All right, you can see it saying it is opening up an EC2 instance. I think that's called Elastic Computing 2 or something like that. I forget what EC2 stands for, but it is basically logging you into the most powerful computer in the world. So you're getting your own desktop. So we're talking about distance learning, and you having a different environment now. Same thing with your computers. No longer do you have to go to school and get a computer to log into. You could log in over the cloud. Okay, that is something that education brought. It brought the power of the purse. Basically, they had enough money to buy a computer so people could. Well, now the computers are off campus. So is there a reason to be on campus? Okay, so here is my Mighty Code Coder or Mighty Fish Fisherman site so far. And as you can see, I also have a main.cs and I have an index.html. And here's all my files, and I could just simply code in here. All right. And I still have up in the title South Hills High School, so I will change it to the Mighty fisherman. Okay, and I could go ahead. Remember, if that has a dot, it is not saved. So I will save it and it'll turn into a small X. Okay, there it is. So that means it's saved. And once it's saved, I could go ahead and hit this button and preview. You don't even have to open another browser window. Isn't that great? So I'll preview it. And so far, that's it right here. Okay, so it's not much. I guess I should put something in one of the table data here so that you could see. I'll put it right here. Okay, and save that, and then I could just refresh this, and you could see there I made, did I really put a D there? Fisherman? Okay, so it's really nice. So I'm gonna just code this website totally in Cloud9. A CSS page, remember if there's some images, there's some colors in here that I wanted to use. Here's the white page, so I could change this color to let's say black. Save that and refresh that, and you see I now have this white page is now black. Okay, so it's really nice. I could start styling things from here. All right, so how do you guys get going with something like that? And this is the template we're going to use. I'm going to actually give you this template, and this thing you're going to put your channel art here, and then your content's going to grow. This whole page is going to grow. I'm going to actually undo that, make it back to the white. Let's see, did that do it? That's not doing it. Well, I didn't save it, so I'm going to just not save it. All right, and I could close it out. All right, and it just has this browser open. Everything opens in a tab. It's kind of cool. All right, so now nothing's open, and if I want to go back and work on that HTML page, or if I want to see that CSS page, okay, so it's real nice, and it doesn't look like, oh, it didn't, it did save that color. It didn't put the bluish color back in there. Well, I have it saved on my desktop. I'll switch it out later. But anyway, I had to save it so it would render. All right, so let's get you guys going in your own environment. All right, so I'm gonna close this and go back to environments. And you see I made one from period 1. I'll now make one for you guys. So the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create an environment. And I can give my environment any name I want. And so I'll call it AWS static website. I don't know if website's 1 or 2 words. I feel like it's 2 words. Okay, and then I could say delete for demo only. Okay, so there you go. And then I want you guys to hit next step. And then it has these environment settings. So here's where you guys it actually creates a computer for you. See, it's create a new EC2 instance, okay? And so this creates a spot. It's like having your own computer, and you're gonna have an app on it. So before we used to have to download the app, and either I had to do this or a district system administrator had to come and download all the apps on the computer and make sure they ran. And a lot of times they would just download them on the computer and not check to see if they ran. And when the kids got there, because of access privileges, they never got it going at all. And I had to call them back, and it was a very laborious situation. All right, so by the time the student got set up 2 or 3 weeks later, then we could get going with the curriculum, but we'd lose a lot. Now you're going to have an environment that's totally yours, set up by Amazon right away just by clicking that button. Really cool. No system administrators. All right. So you're going to do create an EC2 unit, and then you could create any type you want. So they have something called a T2 micro. And if you see, this is a free tier. So it's not going to cost you anything. And if it did cost you any money, it would come out of that $75 they gave you to start. Okay. If you want to go with something bigger, this is recommended for small size web projects. All right. And see, how they didn't capitalize web. I think I always thought web was capitalized, but now here they're saying it's not. All right. So you could pick any of these, but you might be charged. And remember, if you do pick any of those, you don't have to. For the projects that you're going to do in here, you won't need it. But you could pick those, and then if it incurred any cost, it would come out of that money that they gave you. Now, here's how you'll save cost, even if you do take something. They have two platforms. Neither one of them's Windows or Mac. It is Amazon Linux or Ubuntu, and you could do either one. I used to do Ubuntu. Now I'm doing Amazon Linux because I figured it's theirs, and they're probably setting it up to the most maximum situation, and I don't know enough to set my server up, so I'm just going to go Amazon Linux. And then right here is a cost saving move. It says after 30 minutes, just go ahead and log out. All right. And remember, you're charged by how much you use the computer. Okay. It's like you're renting a computer. I thought it'd be interesting or neat if they made this thing, 1 minute. Maybe I just want to log in for a minute, but you're going to charge 30 minutes at the least. Okay. And so after 30 minutes of inactivity, it will log you out. So that will save you some money. And that's the big proprietary thing in what Amazon's doing. They figured out how to monetize or bid, how much things should cost. Okay. That's a hard step, but they did it. All right. So if you click next step, I got to make this button bigger so it comes in. Look out. Duck. Next step. Paul, it didn't hit you. I was just showing them something, and it's a page that's behind you. Just relax, be cool. All right. So create environment. This is going to basically give you a summary of how you set it up. You don't really need to look at it too much, and you could just hit create environment. All right, and you can see this is going to take a little time to get up and running. It's going to set up that computer for you, have the right software running on it, and then you're going to be able to code like crazy. Okay, now it's going to take a second, so I think in that time I will try to now see if my Drobo has. This is my external hard drive. No, it hasn't caught up yet. Did I get any comments? Did anyone show me how to mount something that is not mounting? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have to turn it off and turn it back on. And I wanted to show you some footage from my fishing episode last night. But let's go back. All right, so it's still creating. I guess it's time to tell a joke or something. One of the jokes I was going to tell this morning to Paul was, what do you call a fish without eyes? Fish. Yeah, and I was scared I couldn't say it. So fish without the eyes. Fish. Yeah, I know that wasn't very good. Paul, I didn't want to do that one. All right. So we burned that time and now it's ready. All right. So anyway, so here is all kinds of stuff. This is a what we call a landing page, and this will let you start here. And this is a lot to get your head around. So if you don't want to look at this landing page, you don't have to. You can just get coding. But take a look at this. You can create a file right off the bat. You can upload files. Boy, that sounds a lot like what we were doing with that static web page to begin with. We created an HTML file and then uploaded the picture. All right. Ooh, look at this. Clone from GitHub. All right. So, earlier in the year, I had you guys create a educational GitHub education account. And so you can upload and save your stuff in GitHub and then grab it from GitHub. And we are going to do that. So we have some options here. Isn't this great? So then there's some themes. So here I use the dark theme on mine. So you can see it's all gray. And that's good for your eyes. I think a lot of teachers are complaining about their eyes because they're working with computers all day. Welcome to my world. I have glasses. I don't know. Maybe they should learn that there's glasses. And you see these glasses have a rose tint to it. Look at that. See, so when I'm not on video like I am right now, I use these glasses when I'm preparing so my eyes don't strain so much. So teachers should get these. And they have that banker look. Doesn't look like someone that I would be able to tell, like, okay, how much money do you want to deposit? But anyway, so they have these are computing, they take the glare off the computer. I learned that very early when I was going through my computer science degree, that you better have some rose-colored glasses because the glare is absolutely going to just drill your eyes. All right, so if not that, then change your theme to dark. All right, editor theme, I could change it to GitHub, or I could have a Chrome one, or, something that is similar to maybe something you already use. Here's an Xcode one. All right. But I stayed with GitHub. Okay. And then this is interesting. So keyboard mode. So there's like shortcuts and stuff that you could have. And when the keys are typed, you could have colors show up. And I took like Sublime. Now, Sublime was the IDE I usually had kids download or had them on my computer so kids would do HTML in Sublime. No longer. It's a new era. Okay. So I know we only have 2 minutes left, but I'm just about done here. So I did a Sublime mode, and there's other modes like a Vim or Emacs. Now, if you're familiar with the terminal, these are actually software right there in the terminal that you could code on, okay, Emacs or Vim. I chose Sublime, okay? So mine, if I close that welcome splash page, it's just like this. And then if I want to start an HTML page, it has a slug for you, and a slug is like a template, and so there it is. And so it already has that HTML piece, and I could type in here the mighty fisherman. Okay, and you can go ahead and preview that. And oops, the reason it goes oops, actually that shouldn't be, oh, you know why it says oops? I haven't saved it yet. So remember, if there's a circle there, you have to save it. So I'll do S and save it as index.html. And hit save. All right, now let's preview it. And there it is. It doesn't say anything. I guess I should put something in the body like hello world. Let's save that and then go ahead and preview that. There it is, hello world. So it has a browser right in it. You don't have to go outside for the browser. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, always trying to make you great and help you innovate. So until next time, what, Paul? Yeah, that's right. If they have questions, you can put your questions down below. Or you can go to my website at www.themightycodecoder.com or find me at Twitter at Mighty Code Coder. Thank you for watching.